Why is every play a musical? You know what I mean? Like, what happened to Shakespeare when it was just guys on stage? Well, guys and gals on stage. Or wasn't it a thing like guys would dress in drag? Guys would dress up as women because women couldn't be in plays, but we needed women characters, so the guys would dress up as girls and play women. I think that's true. I'm not going to look it up. Actually, I am going to look it up. What kind of host would I be if I didn't look it up? But I didn't have this prepared. I just put it on my butt. Plays where men dressed as women. Sorry, plays where men dressed cross-dressing in Shakespeare plays. What do you know? Cross-gender acting. Oh my goodness, this is a thing. All right. We're going to take a little side note here. I know we're only 6 seconds into the episode, but here we're on thoughtco.com. Cross-dressing in Shakespeare's plays. Cross-dressing in Shakespeare plays is a common technique used to progress the plot. We take a look at the best female characters that dress as men, the top 3 cross-dressers in Shakespeare plays. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a second. This is not exactly what I thought. It's the women dressed as men. Shakespeare regularly uses this convention in order to afford the female character more freedom in a restrictive society for women. The female character dressed as a man can move more freely, speak more freely, and use their wit and intelligence to overcome problems. Well. That's not what I was looking for, but I guess it's certainly... it's certainly interesting. Regardless, it was a standard theatrical practice for men to portray women on stage in mannerism and in costume, and for playwrights to write towards this expectation, just as it was a convention for audiences to be fully aware of this practice. Alright, so it's true, it did happen. I don't even know where I heard that. I'm kind of surprised I even remembered that that's a thing, because, like I said, I don't know where I heard that. Maybe I just made it up and it actually was real, but I'm not surprised. Back when, certainly I don't agree with this, but back when women were only whatever housewives and stuff, and then the lady's like, I want to be an actress like you, and he's like, no, you go back and make me my rump roast, lady. I'll be you. Go get me one of your brasiers out of your side table drawer. That's how they talk. That's interesting though, isn't it? I guess we could talk about that for a sec. That's weird. We already did talk about it for a sec, but if you didn't know that, that did happen. Men dressed as women, and yeah, I guess certainly that probably happened with other people as well, where whether it was a white man on stage taking the part of an African American gentleman, where African American people were not often actors, a man would dress himself as an African American man, and I guess looking back, that might not have been the best idea. It certainly wasn't a good idea. But we live and we learn, I guess. I guess that's all I can chalk it down to. Hey, wasn't me. If I ever write a play and there's a black guy in it, you know who's going to get that role? A black guy. Or a black woman who's able to be a black guy in the same way that Shakespeare did. Anyway, speaking of plays I would like to write, today's episode was originally going to be called Here's All My Movie Ideas Part 1. I have a couple scripts written. I used to make, well, still, I guess, technically make home movies with my cousins up in Warren. And I might have talked about this before, but like 6th grade, me and my cousin took my uncle's camcorder and just made about 300 movies in a week. Just like 5-minute clips of weird ideas that we just had, where one was like trick shot videos, the other one was some guy, a very low intelligence man named Bob, who would just walk around and pee in public and be a moron. 6th grade humor, you know what I mean? And not the kind where professionals get to write like Trolls 2 6th grade humor. It's like the actual humor of 6th graders. Regardless, I don't have those scripts with me, and one of these episodes is going to be devoted to all the scripts I've written. But I don't have them with me. But what I do have is my phone notes, where I write down all my stupid ideas for like side scenes. You know, I don't have plots written down in my phone, but I do have funny ideas that would work for like 2 seconds in a movie. And I'm going to read a couple to you. Now, not all of these, some of these I'm reading for the first time since I wrote them, and it's been probably 2 years before I've written any of these ideas, since I've written any of these ideas on my phone. So bear with me here. But number one is being stuck in an elevator with a therapist. That's all I wrote in my phone. But that would be a fun idea. Like a guy, something about this guy. Look, I'm not going to go and rewrite these ideas. I just thought they'd be funny no matter what this guy's background is. I just thought it'd be a funny thing for him to be, or a convenient thing, to be in an elevator with a therapist, and then something happens, the power goes out or something, and he's stuck in this elevator with a therapist for hours, and then by the end, he's just like come to terms with who he is, and he calls his dad for the first time in 5 years, and he's just like, I can't believe this is the greatest day of my life. Da, da, da. I don't know. That would be funny. Next, we have a character's playing volleyball over a chain link fence. See, nothing special there, but that would just be like a funny scene. They don't have to be talking about it, but it'd be cool if it was like, that's just kids having fun back in the day. They didn't have a volleyball net, but they had a volleyball. And so they would play it over a chain link fence and use that as a net. That would be cool. Next, we have the weighted blanket murder. Someone buys someone a weighted blanket, or no, it was someone's sleeping on the couch without a blanket. And then this guy comes up to be generous and is like, you know what? I'm gonna put a weighted blanket. I'm gonna put a blanket on you, and it's a weighted blanket, and the person suffocates in their sleep and dies. That would be unfortunate, but it would be funny and ironic. He's trying to keep them from freezing to death, and he kills them with a weighted blanket. Next, we have just a pun. Some guy says, I'm a Guinness Book of World Record holder, and the guy goes, no, you're not. And then the first guy goes, yes, I am. And he's holding a Guinness Book of World Records. So he says, I am a Guinness Book of World Record holder. See, that's just stupid. That's what most of these are. It's just like weird puns. Like the one was, some guy has this one I don't have written down. I just remember it. Some guy has a Frost, or a Blizzard from Dairy Queen, and he goes into a store, and a guy goes, hey, you can't have ice cream in here. You'll make a mess. And he goes, no, don't worry, it says Blizzard. And he holds it upside down like they do when they give it to you at Dairy Queen. He goes, it's not going anywhere. What's next? Oh, here's my genuinely favorite idea I've ever come up with. And I'll get into why it's now my least favorite. It started out, you know what, sorry, hang on, give me a moment here. I got to pull up the actual notes. All I have is the note names in my notes here, or in my show notes. But I do need to find where I wrote this down, because this might have been my greatest idea. Right now I'm stalling until I find where it is. So give me a moment, please. It's from August 30th, 2019. I got to scroll down. All right, I'm almost there. All right, here. Friend slowly explains to his other friends that he is a devil worshiper. But not a psycho, where he listens to heavy metal and just goes crazy and has pentagrams drawn all over his walls. But just friends with the devil. And his church, he goes to church, and it is exactly like a Catholic Mass, except everyone is talking about the devil and not God. Here I have songs and stuff, so you would sing and be like, we like the devil, he is the greatest, one day we hope to go to hell. You dress up for it, though, like you dress in your Sunday best, and you go to devil worshiper church. And of course, lastly, people shake hands and say, F you. I thought that would be funny. Of course, if you've never been to Catholic Mass, I don't know what other churches are like, but Catholic Mass is a lot of just like, I'm Catholic, by the way, is a lot of like, oh, how are you? I hope you have a great weekend, and you stop and say peace, or you're talking to your friends before church, or just the churchgoers there. You go, hi, how was your weekend there, Steve? Oh, I had a cookout with the wife, and you're just chilling, and that's exactly how devil worshiper church would be. It would just be all these like generic waspy type people, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant people, I guess Catholic, but whatever, waspy kind of people. But instead of worshiping God, they're worshiping the devil. Now, my problem with this is that I came up with that sketch completely on my own. I just thought it would be funny for people to treat the devil the same way they treated God. Except I was watching HBO's classic sketch comedy series, Mr. Show, from the 90s. I've talked about it before. And that exact sketch came on. And I had not watched it, and judging by just proving that I couldn't have been influenced by it, you've never heard of that show. So shouldn't that prove that I never heard of that show up until recently when I got HBO? I mean, I don't know where I came up with this from, But so I was watching Mr. Show. I can't remember exactly what episode it is, but I'll look it up just to be a good host. Mr. Show Devil Church. Let's see if it comes up. The Hail Satan Network. Yeah, Heaven's Chimney, I think it's called. Yeah, Heaven's Chimney is the episode. Season 3, episode 8. I think. Season 3, episode 1, actually. Sorry. Season 3, episode 1. Either way, it's in season 3. It's one of those. Sorry. My point being, I was watching Mr. Show. They cut into this sketch, and it's Tom Kenny, SpongeBob. He's being this priest, this pastor, and he goes, he looks at us from down below. And they just talk about, Hail Satan, everyone. Hail Satan, everyone. And it's like this weird, like the church kind of, this church masses that they'd put on TV, where it's like the weird singy ones and everyone's getting up and jumping around. And then they pull this other guy out, Bob Odenkirk, who plays Saul in Breaking Bad. He comes out, and he is like a liaison for this church, and he comes out and he goes, oh, you look like a real whore tonight, Deborah. And she goes, oh, thank you. You look like the devil's whore. Oh, may your mother burn in hell. So it's these very offensive things, but it's exact opposite of what you would say in church, and it was just like normal for this sketch. And it's a hilarious sketch. They did it very well, better than I could have done it. But my point being is, I could have written Mr. Show, a show that I'd love to watch, the comedy that I think is probably my favorite sketch comedy show ever. Takes their ideas from me, basically. I guess it just saying that I would be qualified to have written on an HBO series. Side note, Mr. Show, like I said, if you watch it and you think it's stupid, it is stupid. Sorry about that. My phone is on. It is stupid. But you have to acknowledge that the people writing it know it's stupid, and they're not doing it in a way that's like, oh, our audience is so dumb, they think this is funny. It's all a bunch of third graders. It's like, no, these guys are genuinely hilarious, very funny guys, smarter than me, smarter than any of us listening. And they're just dumbing down their comedy, not because, well, this is my theory, not because they think their audience is dumb, but because they can do better. You know what I mean? Like Dr. Seuss. Like, it's not like just because he writes children's books, oh, really? You're just all you write is children's book. What, you can't think of a novel? No, you know how smart you'd have to be Dr. Seuss? You think Dr. Seuss was only capable of writing children's books? No, that's just what he was good at. That's Mr. Show, I think. That's my theory. That's how I explain it to people when they watch it and they go, really? Fart jokes? I'm like, yeah, it's a fart joke, but they're doing it ironically in a way to like make fun of how stupid it is. All right. Next, of course, some guy, you know the quote, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades? Well, I thought it'd be funny to have like a little, some of these would work as like vines, TikToks, I guess. Although I'll never watch TikTok ever in my life, unless Jason sends me a video, in which I will watch it, but I'll never watch TikTok on my own. I'm sorry if you're a huge TikTok fan. I can't get behind it. And it's not because they're not funny. The ones I see are hilarious, but that's a young man's game. I'm an adult now. I don't deserve to be doing what the kids are doing nowadays. Anyway, you know the saying, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades? Well, I thought it'd be funny for it to be like a close-up on a horseshoe spike, and then a hand grenade like gets thrown and lands right near the spike, near where it's supposed to go. And then it cuts back to the guy throwing a grenade, and he goes, that was close. I thought that would be funny. Clever. Next, there's a nude woman changing, and a guy's staring at her, and she goes, look away. And he keeps staring, and she goes, what are you doing? I said, look away. And then he goes, oh, I thought you meant like, look away. Like, oh, if you give someone a hamburger and you go, eat away. I don't know if you've ever said that, but like that style of the word away, that meaning, when she's saying, look away. I thought that'd be funny. Next, this is the last one. Not that this is all of them, it's just the ones I found and thought were worth sharing. I have plenty of other ones, but I'm not going to spend the whole episode talking about them. I thought it'd be funny for a guy to be talking to his neighbor and then be like, hey, George, how you been? I saw... And he goes, oh, I'm good, how are you? Oh, I'm good, yeah, I was at the supermarket the other day and I saw your wife, what's her face, Anyway, whatever, I saw what's her face at the store, and he's talking, and then the guy and the neighbor just gets very angry, and I don't know if he yells at him, I haven't come up with that yet, but he's just like very upset that the neighbor calls his wife what's her face, like without thinking about it. Like the guy's very disrespected that the neighbor doesn't even know his wife's name. What's her face? You call my wife what's her face? Her name is Christineth. So that's all my funny movie ideas. Hopefully you found those hilarious. And if you, I've had these on my phone for years now, so I'm not going to use them. If you want to make TikToks or something, write an entire feature film and use all those jokes, go ahead. I'm not going to sue. I'm going to be honored. It'll be an homage to White Coffee. Although I do expect an invitation to the screening. Next, I've collected a list of my top 5 favorite songs of all time. And it's not just songs that I've listened to in the last week. Like most of the songs of the day are like, oh, I heard this today. I thought it was really cool. No, these are the top 5 songs that I've listened to for the past at least a year, maybe 2 years, that I've listened to so many other songs, but these ones stick with me. And every time I hear them, I don't turn them off. I go, oh, this is just such a good song. And I've narrowed it down to 5. I have 1,500 songs on my phone, and I've narrowed it down to 5 favorites. Number 1, and I'm sorry I cannot play them. Most of these, all but one, I've already played on the show, so hopefully you're familiar with them. But I'm going to list them and the artist if you would like to go listen to them on your own, make a playlist or something. Number 1, these are in no particular order. Number 1. We have Androgynous by The Replacements. That was the song of the day. Actually, I could probably pull up what time it was the song of the day because I have the White Coffee Podcast notes in front of me made by Titty. So, Titty, if you're listening and you think that I just saw that once and ignored it, no, I have them open all the time to make sure I'm not doing anything stupid on the show. Androgynous. I know that I used this song somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm typing. I'm using the search feature, but I'm sorry to you. I think you spelled this wrong. Androgynous. Okay. Sorry, it's from episode 7. It's hard to be creative if you want to go back and listen to it. Or just look it up on YouTube. What are you talking about? Anyway, this is the song about 2 transgender people that fall in love. Like a man that's a woman and a woman that's a man. They fall in love. They're androgynous. I mean, that's what the word androgynous means, I think. Something about that. I'll actually pull up the definition here. A partly male and partly female in appearance of indeterminate sex, having the physical characteristics of both sexes, androgyny. So a man dressed as a woman, like David Bowie. Or that pale lady from Game of Thrones. Sorry. So that's number 1. Number 2, this has not been on the show, but I highly recommend it. It's the song So Young by Portugal the Man. I don't think that's been on the show, actually. Let me check. No, it has not been on the show. Portugal the Man, So Young. That's a beautiful song. So young, just begun. There's a good line in it that's knocked out with the Golden Gloves. Oh, wait, hang on. I really should be more prepared here, and I'm very sorry that I'm not more prepared here. So Young. Knocked out with the Midas touch. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Knocked out with the Midas touch. A champion wearing golden gloves. Got you punch drunk. Seeing stars. Little birdies singing. Why'd you fall so hard? That's a great song. I'm sorry these are taking me so long to pull up, but so far we have Androgynous by The Replacements and So Young by Portugal the Man. Third, this has been on the show. It was from episode 9, Netflix murder doc. It's called It's Not That Hard to Be Completely Normal. Black Water by Ruben and the Dark. That is a good song. I get high, I get low, low, low. That's the way these things go. That is an incredible song. I've been listening to it for the last year, and I never turn it off when I hear it. There's a lot of songs where I'll listen to them for a week straight, and then I'll listen to it a week later, and I'll go, I'm not listening to this. I'm over this song. These are think of it like this. Top 5 songs. Here's the top 5 songs. Sorry, I just banged the mic. Here's the 5 songs I never get over. That when I listen to them, it's like I can't turn this off. Next, we have Avant Gardener by Courtney Barnett. This is from episode 6. I don't know what it's called because No offense, Titty, but you didn't write the name, which is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I cleaned my room yesterday. Sorry. I cleaned my room yesterday. The song Avant Gardener by Courtney Barnett. It's a Monday. Yeah. I sleep in late another day. It's what a wonder, or what a waste. It's a Monday. It's so mundane. What exciting things can happen today? And it's just a whole song about her cleaning the garden and having an asthma attack. The kind of songs I like where it's like, you know what? I like that you're not just talking about like, oh, I'm in love, or hey, I do drugs and have sex with a lot of models. I'm like, yeah, who cares? That's another thing about songs. Like, not that I hate rap. I like Kid Cudi. But like when there's songs, like a lot of rap is just like, I smoke weed. And then at this point, weed is legal in almost every state. Maybe not half even. But a lot of states have weed legal. And it's not taboo anymore to smoke weed. Where for rap, like maybe in the 80s where it's like, oh, this guy's not only smoking weed, but he's singing about it and he's not in trouble. Oh my goodness. But now in the 2020, or people are like, I'm smoking weed. And you're like, you're smoking weed? Oh, good for you. What do you just graduate 7th grade? Wow, nice. Like, that's not cool anymore. And then like, oh, I have sex with girls. I'm like, yeah, you're 25. Good. Why is that? Why am I impressed? Unless I was 11. That's why I think 11-year-olds like rap so much, because they see that and they go, oh, this guy's talking about weed? What? That's illegal. I don't smoke weed, by the way. But just saying. Not that that's a problem. I'm just saying. It's not interesting to me to hear that other people do. Why do you have to make a song about it? Lastly, of course, brings us to the song of the day. This might be my favorite song of all time. All right? Are you listening close? This is from the album Oracular Spectacular by MGMT. I think I've talked about this album before, but I don't know if I ever played the entire song or even part of the song. It's my favorite song. It has a lot of meaning behind it. Not to get into it now, other than, well, you know, I'll get into it after. Anyway, here's the song The Handshake by MGMT. I don't want to play too much because YouTube will take it down, and I only ever mute the songs because I'm worried that YouTube won't post them and share them to people. But here's a cool part of the MGMT. I don't know what part to play. Hang on a sec. I mean, because the thing about that song is there's not like a verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It's like 7 different verses without really a chorus or anything, but it flows so well. And I guess it's probably because it just sounds like one long like poem, but it's a beautiful song. And like I said, I hope YouTube didn't take it down because it is my favorite song of all time. But if they did, it definitely, regardless if they take it down or not, it deserves a spot in your playlist. Go listen to the entire song anyway. But like I said, real quick, like the only reason I mute the songs, because they say, oh, well, if you don't mute it, you won't get money. I'm like, well, I don't get money anyway. But I'm worried that YouTube will say, oh, there's a copyright claim. Let's not post this right yet. Let's not let people see that this got uploaded because it's rude that he stole this song. I'm worried that they do that because sometimes I notice that, like the one song I did get a copyright claim on and didn't take it down right away, it got like 11 views in a week and a half. And now last episode, we're up to like 96 views. So, I mean... And I muted that right away. So, that's why I'm concerned. But that's the song, The Handshake. Sorry, that was a side note. But in case you were curious about why I mute the songs. That's the song, The Handshake by MGMT. Real quick, I mean, I'm not going to get too in-depth, but there was a close family friend of mine that passed away, a young kid. I think he was 23. But he was a close friend of mine, and I hadn't seen him in a while, so after he passed away, I was looking at his old Instagram just to see, like, because I knew there was pictures of us on it, and I wanted to go find him. And I saw that he had posted, like, a long time ago, a screenshot of himself listening to that song. And that was already one of, like, my favorite songs. And so when I saw that, I was like, all right, this holds, like, a near and dear spot in my heart. Not because that was our song or anything. Like, we didn't ever talk about that band. But just the fact that, like, we both separately really enjoyed that song. He enjoyed it enough to post about it. Like, that just meant a lot to me. So, that probably is my favorite song of all time. I guess I really don't know if that belongs in this episode. I mean, maybe it should go in the last episode. But this won't be the last episode. So, in case anyone's wondering, listening to this in the future, why I put it in episode 22, my favorite song of all time for the song of the day, I don't know. Who cares? I'm the one hosting the show. And anyone curious enough to listen is thankful that I put that in there. But I love that song. That's my top 5 songs. It's So Young by Portugal the Man, Androgynous by The Replacements, Avant-Gardener by Courtney Barnett, Blackwater by Ruben in the Dark, and The Handshake by MGMT. If anyone was curious. Last, of course, we have to still get to the word of the day. We're 25 minutes in, people. This episode might go a little long. Today's word of the day is an adjective describing making a loud, confused noise, uproarious noise, or excited, confused, or disorderly, so like a tumultuous crowd. Oh, sorry, I didn't say the word. I meant to, but I said it in the sentence. The word is tumultuous. I purposely didn't say it right away, but I read the sentence. The word is tumultuous. It describes someone being loud or obnoxious, I guess, or confused, uproarious. A tumultuous crowd. That's a big word that sounds strong. Another thing that's big and strong is Brad Pitt in Fight Club, which is our movie. It's a 2.5-hour long movie. It's rated R. It's a drama thriller. It's on nothing. It was on HBO Max. They took it off. It got $101.2 million at the box office. Anyway, a depressed man, Edward Norton, suffering from insomnia, meets a strange soap salesman named Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt, and soon finds himself living in his squalid house after his perfect apartment is destroyed. So Edward Norton's apartment is destroyed, and he ends up moving with Brad Pitt. The two bored men form an underground club with strict rules and fight other men who are fed up with their mundane lives. Their perfect partnership frames when Marla, Helena Bonham Carter, a fellow support group crasher, attracts Tyler's attention. It's a 2.5-hour long movie. It deserves every minute of your attention for those 2.5 hours. It is one of my favorite movies. Maybe next episode I'll talk about all my favorite movies, even though today I already talked about all my favorite movie ideas. That doesn't belong in here. This is my movie episode, not David Fincher's. Honorable mention to Jacob Cederberg, who commented on the last episode asking why I haven't mentioned our steak dinner. Well, Jake, I gotta be honest. I didn't think about it when I was writing the notes, but right now I'm going to give you your time to shine. Me and Jacob Cederberg, classic, best friends from high school, since middle school, best friends now. He used to be the old producer on this show. I was home, and he was home from college, and we decided to go buy steak and shrimp and mashed potatoes and broccoli and have a cookout in my backyard, as we often do. But this time, it was something different. These were the greatest steaks we had ever eaten. Jacob did a great job cooking the steak medium rare for me. We got $8.99 a pound New York strip steaks at Carnes in York, Pennsylvania, and I cannot recommend enough going to Carnes. Everyone there is extremely nice, and all the women working behind the counter are extremely attractive. And I think I'm a little biased when I say that, because I used to work at Giant behind the meat counter, and everyone that worked with me was ugly and an idiot, and everyone here was very attractive and very nice. Although there was one moment where we were standing at the case. There was kind of a line gathered, but everyone was lined up horizontally, not vertically to the case. We were just kind of standing all parallel to the case. And the girl behind the counter was like, "Who's next? Who's next?" And me and Jacob were standing there, and there was a guy next to Jacob that had been there longer than us, but we weren't sure if he was waiting on something or if he was in line. So when she said, "Who's next? Who's next?" Jacob looked at him and was like, "Are you up?" And the guy didn't say anything, so I walked up to the case. And I asked her, whatever, do you steam shrimp? Blah, blah, blah. Well, while I was up there, Jacob asked the guy again, "Are you in line?" And the guy looked at Jacob and said, "No, I'm just standing here because I want to." He was trying to be sarcastic. Side note, what a stupid thing to say sarcastically. I mean, yeah, he's right. How's that sarcastic? "No, I'm only here because I want to be." Well, yeah. You're in line because you want food, stupid. Of course you're in there because you want to be. That did not make sense. So Jacob was like, "All right." So I turned around to go back in line, and the guy looked at me walking towards the line and went, "You're not next." Even though I had already been there, done that with my question, and I just said, "Okay." And then I walked back to Jacob, and then we were just looking at this guy through them. There was the back wall of the store was just all mirrors, so we were looking at this guy just laughing like I don't know. It'd be different if we were 13 and we were roughhousing, but we're adults at this point. It's weird for this 30-year-old guy to just go "You're not next." Is that how you talk to people? We're all men here, my friend. So it was the first time I was ever like, "Oh yeah, I'm an adult too." What are you doing? That's how you talk to people? It was just stupid. So we weren't like angry. We were just like making fun of him. Like, all right, dude. Oh, was that your win for the day? You're not next. Yeah, I know I'm not next. That's why I'm getting back in line. Stupid. Other than that, of course, the Carnes experience was great. Oh, geez, we're already at 30 minutes here. Well, I hope you enjoyed the list of all my funny ideas that I think are hilarious. Some more than others, some more impressive than others. Like I said, the Mr. Show sketch that I wrote and then saw on the show that was written 15 years ago. I was actually 22 years ago, but I was pretty impressed knowing that I wrote that. And it's nice to know that these guys take my inspiration even from the future. I'm pretty impressed that they were even able to do that. Hopefully there were no audio glitches in this podcast. I know the last episode from like 9 to 11 minutes was real scratchy. I'm very sorry. I don't have an audio engineer. I just record these onto Audacity and I upload them right away. Sometimes I'll listen to the whole thing, but now that I'm recording them in the morning and they're all 31 minutes long, I don't really have time to be up till, right now it's 2:03 a.m. I don't really have time to sit down and then re-listen to the last half hour just to make sure that there's no glitches. But hopefully there are none, and hopefully at some point I'll get an entire crew in here to do all my dirty work and make sure that there are none of those problems. But for right now, I'm on my own, so that's part of the experience, my friend. This episode went by quick. Hopefully it went by quick for you, because a lot of people often shut the episode off after like 2 minutes. But maybe you won't even realize 2 minutes went by, and then you'll look down and it's been 31. Because I'm going to end the episode now. Remember, in the next couple episodes I have written, the one is still How to Be Me. I just never got around to that, or I never got around to doing it. I have all the notes written. How to Be Me. I still want to perfect that, though, because I don't want to rush into it and then realize 2 days later, like, oh yeah, I don't like doing that. So I want to take that one seriously. I have the next one I want to do, or the next one I want to have written, is going to be like all my writing that or all my essays I wrote in high school, or my creative writing, my short stories and stuff that I wrote in high school, as well as like movie scripts that I wrote, like genuine movie scripts, not just jokes. So hopefully that interests you. Of course, for a minute, we're going to go behind the scenes and talk about the last episode. We got 96 views on that. Is that going to be the new average? Because the last 2 episodes got 112 views and now 96 views. So if we can somehow make that normal, that would be incredible. I know we lost a subscriber. We have 192 now. I think we started the whole thing. Episode 1, we had 106, which I understand why some of them left, because I know a lot of them were only here because of Tyler Funk, and he is now gone. But that is the end of the episode. Hopefully it gets 100 views. If not, whatever. At least I have all my faithful fans. And I'll see you all on Tuesday.